Welcome to the Weekly Market Wrap-Up. I'm Hannah Bernard. Stocks hit record highs this week after the Republican Party dealt a punishing blow to President Obama and secured control of the U.S. Senate for the first time in 8 years. How well did the markets do? Let's find out. The Dow Jones Industrial Average hit new highs on Wednesday with a 100-point gain and then set another record Thursday, climbing nearly 70 points to close at 17,554. The S&P 500 also turned in two record highs this week, finishing off with a 7.64 gain on Thursday to close at 2,031. And the Nasdaq turned in an okay performance, up 17.75 points Thursday to close at 4,638. Now let's turn to Canadian markets, which experienced a bit of a roller coaster ride this week. The Toronto Stock Exchange plummeted 147 points on Tuesday, losing just over 1% in value, only to make back the loss and more Wednesday with a 157-point gain following the U.S. elections. The TSX nosed ahead Thursday, gaining 15.12 points to close at 14,563. The TSX Venture Exchange also had a big drop on Tuesday, losing nearly 15 points. While still in the red, the resource-heavy board managed to regain some losses and closed up Thursday 4.43 points to 751. North American markets climbed higher yesterday, mostly due to a dovish policy statement from the European Central Bank on Thursday morning. Statements from the ECB indicate we can expect more stimulus from the central bank to prop up the European economy. The U.S. election was certainly the big news of the week as Republicans took over the Senate and padded their majority in the House. Investors on both sides of the border were jubilant as immediately after the win, Republican leaders committed to approving the Keystone Pipeline, which will transport Canadian oil from Alberta south through to the Gulf of Mexico. The Republican-controlled Congress is also expected to push through corporate tax reform, changes to Obamacare, and potentially new immigration legislation. Overall, investors anticipate a more business-friendly Washington, one that will at most proactively legislate in favor of business, or at least stay out of the way. Some troubling news Thursday from Montreal-based SNC-Lavalin. The engineering and construction company says it will cut its global workforce by 4,000, or 9% of the total. The company slashed its profit forecast for the year and says the job cuts are expected to play a role in the profit decline. But it will save money over the long term as the firm gets out of the underperforming business segments. The downsizing is in part a reaction to the global slowdown in the mining sector, one of the company's areas of expertise. SNC-Lavalin's stock dropped 8% on the news to close at $42.47 on Thursday. Now to winners and losers in our picks for the week. The winner for this week is Coupons.com Inc., ticker symbol COUP. Shares in the online deals website soared over 33% on Wednesday, up $4.13, after news the company beat the street's Q3 earnings and revenue forecasts. Revenue grew 47.4% year over year to $58.54 million for the quarter, beating analysts' estimates of $52.83 million. Coupon.com delivers digital coupons and codes offering discounts on over 2,000 top brands to consumers on behalf of over 700 consumer packaged goods companies. The platform also serves as a vital promotional vehicle for retailers. The loser for this week is Tribune Publishing Company, ticker symbol TPUB. Stock in the iconic newspaper publisher plunged over 15% Wednesday, down $2.98 after the company reported a third-quarter loss in its first financial report as a standalone business. Declining ad revenue pushed overall revenue down 4.7% for the quarter. Tribune Publishing operates 8 daily newspapers in the U.S. and over 60 affiliated websites and mobile applications. The company owns and publishes the Chicago Tribune and the Los Angeles Times. Well, those are our winners and losers for this week, and now it's time to check in on the gains that you could have locked in by following the weekly watch list from Robert James and Viral Stocks. That's enough about this week. Now let's turn to Baystreet.ca's look at the week ahead and the snapshot of what analysts are forecasting for companies whose earnings reports are coming out next week. Here are 3 U.S. stocks to watch. First up on Monday is Dean Foods Co. with an EPS forecast for a loss of 13 cents compared to a gain of 12 cents in the prior year quarter. Next up on Wednesday is Canadian Solar Inc. with an EPS forecast of $1.15 compared to 59 cents in the prior year quarter. This week, Canadian Solar announced it had won 3 solar projects in Brazil, totaling 114 megawatts. Finally, on Thursday is Nordstrom Inc. with an EPS forecast of 72 cents compared to 69 cents in the prior year quarter. And now here are 3 Canadian stocks to watch next week. First up on Tuesday is Metro Inc. with an EPS forecast of $1.26 compared to $1.19 in the prior year quarter. Next up on Wednesday is CAE Inc. with an EPS forecast of 16 cents compared to 15 cents in the prior year quarter. CAE and Bombardier announced last month they are expanding their joint training program to include the Bombardier Challenger 350 business jet. Finally, on Thursday is Finning International Inc. with an EPS forecast of 55 cents compared to 50 cents in the prior year quarter. And that wraps it up. Thanks again so much for joining us for another weekly market wrap-up. Before you head out for the weekend, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or podcast on iTunes and find us on Facebook and on Twitter. For Viral Network News and Baystreet.ca, I'm Hannah Bernard. Thanks for watching.